Today we are talking about a movie review. So, yesterday I was watching a little bit Netflix and I watched the movie All I Want for Christmas. So, let's talk about this today from our, of course, dating relationship coach perspective. I know, it's a little bit early for Christmas movie, but I don't know, I felt like watching it. I've already started. I'm back in Europe, in Germany. The days are grey and long and cold, so Christmas movies bring a little bit of happiness and spark. So let's talk about this movie, what I loved about it from dating perspective and what I didn't like. All right, you guys can look it up. All I Want for Christmas is the title. And I have to give you a little bit of spoiler, so sorry for that. But it's about a woman that is a singer and she's kind of struggling in her business, she's struggling financially, and a guy who is a tech entrepreneur and he and his family was really successful in business, but they are struggling with relationships. Okay, so this is, by the way, this is our first point. It is so often and so typical that people who are successful, who are entrepreneurs, who are educated, they are struggling in relationships. And people who have good relationships are struggling in business because oftentimes these are two different tools. And I'm going to give you an examples that you could see in this movie. It was so amazing. Just like those two things are two different tools. That's a pen and that's obviously nail polish. But we need different tools for different things. And also relationship skills are different in private relationships. Is it boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, family, friends, than in business? So what happened in this movie is like the guy, I think his name was Arch. I'm really bad with names, sorry for that. The guy, when he grew up, his father was teaching him to be successful no matter what. And he was kind of like saying, if you earn more money than your sister, I don't know from which age, then you will get all the presents and your sister will get nothing. Which technically in business, it's a good thing to be in competition, right? To be better than all of your competitors, right? It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. I'm also very proud that so many of my clients stay with me for years because I'm actually a good coach, you know? Or when you are out competing people in your field and you're being chosen for a good job. So technically in business, that is a good thing to be competing and to be better than others. But guess what? In his family, his father did it in the expense of the relationship of this guy. I think his name was Arch. Sorry guys, I'm really always forgetful with names. And the sister. So they were kind of always competing with each other. That is not a healthy thing to do, to just compete with your sister all the time. Also with your girlfriend, with your wife, with your parents. You should support each other, not compete, especially in relationships. So that movie shows that so beautifully, right? And again, you don't need to choose just one thing, either this or this tool. You get to have both for different aspects of your life. You get to compete in your career and you get to relax and compromise in your private life, right? And be cooperative. Right? Sometimes, being cooperative in career is also amazing, helpful. So that's what's happening there. And you can see in this movie that the sister and this brother kind of like have this competitive relationship. They have to win no matter what, and they're both kind of like stuck in this dynamic, and they kind of don't know how to break this behavior pattern. And you could see how beautifully that the woman, the starring woman, like the singer, she is kind of like helping to break the pattern. They have been packing little Christmas presents, and again, the sister with Art, with the guy, the tech entrepreneur, were like competing who can park faster. And she was just like, you know what? You get to do something else. I will do the parking. Like she was really helping to break the pattern. And that's so wonderful that she could do it, you know. But usually your friends and family are not really aware of how to break the pattern. And this is also why you do coaching, because a coach can really help you. Okay, this is a pattern, how to break it. You have the accountability, you have the zoomed out perspective. And again, yes, in an ideal world, a friend that you just know can help you break a pattern too, but it's not very common, and not many people can actually do that or notice that enough, you know. But me as a coach, I'm trained to see that, and I'm trained to help you break any pattern that isn't helping you, and to learn different skills. And again, you're not gonna just change into someone who always is okay to lose or whatever, but you're gonna have two different tools now. Okay, so at the end, those siblings were able to kind of like break the pattern and be supportive and cooperative with each other. Yeah, I was telling you guys, it's a bit spoiler alarm, but it's wonderful. It's wonderful that they could actually break a pattern, and you will see what happens at the end. I'm not gonna tell more, okay? I'm just trying to give you like the dating relationship coach perspective. Okay, so then actually the main story was even something else. There was the tech entrepreneur Arch, and then the woman, the singer that was struggling kind of like to pay her bills with her singing and with her art and her music. And so basically, this guy Arch was making some applications that would help musicians write songs faster, and help children choirs to learn the songs, like different apps, right? And this woman, she kind of believed about the original talent to do everything by hand, to do everything by herself. And you know, it wasn't easy for her because she was slow and she was outcompeted, especially again in business. You're gonna get outcompeted if you're behind, and she wasn't using the modern technology, so she was behind at this time and age. Maybe 20 years ago she wouldn't, but right now she was. So when she kind of like met him, you will see in the movie how they met. I don't want to make this super long, but when she met him, he was like, her parents had a farm where they would sell Christmas trees. And this guy went to buy a Christmas tree, and she happened to be at the farm, and she helped him, assisted him. And guess what? She found out that he is making those applications that her manager told her to use, but she's like stubborn behind. She doesn't want to use those applications. She doesn't want to be modern. She wants to do it like the old fashioned way. And you know, although she was quite young, like probably like 30 or 35, but you know, she was still believing in the way to create music, like she grew up, not using any technology or applications or anything. So when she found out that he made those applications, she felt so triggered. She kind of like acted out, and I don't remember what she did, but she was triggered. She acted out, her energy shifted, she just got angry and left and let her dad handle the guy. Remember how I talked about the fight, flight, freeze response when we are triggered? Yeah, this is what happened to her. And usually this doesn't come up in the first 3 months of dating, but those two people haven't been dating. You know, usually in the first 3 months, there is like this chemical dopamine high, so you don't really get triggered, but eventually you do after 3 months or after you committed to someone. Okay, but they kind of skip the stage because they haven't been really dating. They just like met and been talking. So sometimes those triggers can come up already in the beginning. Anyways, she didn't have a coach, but she had amazing parents who kind of coach her through that. And honestly, in the best case scenario, you would have those parents too. But it doesn't happen always. I didn't have such parents that could make me self-aware of my triggers and do the right thing. I didn't. That's why I needed a coach. And a lot of you don't have parents like that either, or friends, or you know, that is why it is so important to have the extra support. And by the way, if you desire to have extra support from me, feel free to reach out for a free love audit call. The link is in my bio or in the description box. Okay, you can also just send me an email with your situation, and then we will schedule one free extra, one free love audit call where you can get to know me and pick my brain. And back to the story. So, in an ideal world, your parents could do that for you. So, her parents told her, okay, what was wrong with this guy? He seemed nice. Well, you know, he is kind of in the same industry as me. But he made an app for making music and he made lots of money. And I make no money. Even though I'm the talent, I don't use any, apps or AI or anything. And then her parents told her, this is literally coaching her through that. So, her parents told her, so you're angry for him for monetizing his idea to monetize this business. And she got self-aware that, okay, I'm just triggered because this is like the concept when we want something and we don't have it, we don't want to see it, we get triggered, we destroy it, like this is bad. So she got self-aware and she was like, I guess I can be open-minded. Maybe there is a way for me to monetize this career too. Okay. And she kind of like went to him and apologized. And then there were so many more incidents where she got triggered again, and her parents again coach her through that, like help her be self-aware and pushed her a little bit to expand her comfort zone. That was just so beautiful. Like her parents was literally her coaches. You guys should watch this movie. I love this movie so much because it's so realistic. There's not so many movies out there that actually show you relationship dynamics and how to solve it, right? Like what happens usually people get into fight flight freeze mode. They either ghost each other, never talk again, fight with each other, or ignore bad behavior. But that is not all that is to relationships. You don't have to fight all the time or ghost each other. You can work through triggers, you can work through conflicts. And this is literally what was shown in this movie. Her parents helped her work through conflict, and she helped him, he helped her. Like they were all helping each other. That was so wonderful to see for me. I was so happy watching this movie. I think I'm gonna rewatch it. So let me think. There was another incident where I think he never had a Christmas tree, so he put it in ice outside. She just made fun of him and went back home. And her parents were like, again, why didn't you help him? Like, he never had a Christmas tree. He doesn't know how to set up a Christmas tree. So she again went back and was like, okay, fine, let me help you. I don't have to make fun of you. And then later, he also asked her to like the singer to support him. So Art, the tech entrepreneur, asked the singer to support him, kind of like promote his app and develop his app. And she was so against it. And the parents again, like I think it was the father, was like, remember uncle or grandpa, who was, I don't know, I think the example was, sorry if I don't get it perfect, I think the example was he was collecting the old cassettes or the CDs, you know, and he didn't want to change. Just like he was writing, I was typing on a laptop and you are typing on a smartphone. Like the time changes. You want to be stuck like your grandpa. And then she was like, okay, fine, I will be open-minded. And so she agreed to help. And Yeah, so there was so much self-awareness, accountability, forgiveness in this movie. I just loved it. And I love that there is actually one movie out there that shows that, that shows that people can make mistakes and kind of hold each other accountable and even coach yourself through stuff. And this is actually what I have in my life. I have people around me, and also because partially created that, who hold me accountable too, like my friends, my family, my partner. They all kind of call out me when I'm triggered. That's so cool. Like, of course, my coaches too, but I also have like this family support system. At now, I used to not have it, but now I do, because I started doing this with them. I started, educated them. Okay, this is a trigger. I'm calling you out. If I get triggered, call me out. I'm a human too. I can get triggered. I can get in fear. Okay. One other common theme that there is what I'm always saying: when you do something a certain way, when you dig a hole and you just like stuck in this hole, stop digging. Just find another way. You know, when something isn't working, stop digging, find another way. And there was also just a mindset shift, right? And it was implemented throughout the whole movie, where, for example, this arch tech entrepreneur with his sister had this one always competitive nature. Stop digging, do it another way. It doesn't work in relationships. Or this singer woman was like really wanting to monetize her old fashioned way of writing songs, but it didn't work. It didn't work for her. It just like she needed to actually learn a little bit of being open minded, being competitive, using this new age technology. Yeah, she had to find a new way. And this is also something that you can apply in your life. If there's something that you're doing and it doesn't work, stop digging. Find another way. If you've been for years doing something and it doesn't feel good, stop doing that. I've been, for example, for years I had a pattern of people pleasing. Did it feel good? No. I had to stop doing that, but I also needed coaching and accountability to be self-aware what I'm doing and how to change it. And actually I changed it in something that I also wasn't happy with. I changed it into just like letting go of situation, being in flight mode and ghosting people. I wasn't happy with that either, because guess what? You can't really have a deep and fulfilled relationship when you are like that. So I was like, okay, I've got to change that too, you know? And I did. And having the outside accountability is so beautiful, because even me as a coach, I'm still always coached. Like I right now had a coaching call. I'm about to finish this live stream, going into another coaching call, because sometimes we are just humans, we are in our own emotions, and then it's harder to spot that. And obviously right now, as I'm a coach since many years, a profi in that, I can kind of spot things within me probably 90% of the times, but I'm still getting the extra support to help me find a 10% blind spot. And for you, as you are an intelligent, educated person, I'm sure you also spot many things by yourself, but it's just so amazing to have support from someone else, because the other person doesn't has your trigger, doesn't has your resistance, and it can actually think logically. And if they even have coaching skills, oh, that's so amazing. And this is actually what you see in this movie, that when, for example, this woman who was a singer and she was stuck, she was stuck. Like she was stuck in her old behavior patterns, like she didn't want to change. Like she had her father and her mother being not being in those emotions in the chaos that she is. It's like being in the woods and just not knowing where to go because there are so many trees. She had her father and mother seeing everything from outside and being able to be like, this is where you are, and you should not continue going in this direction, you should do this. And she trusted them, and it is so beautiful that she had the support. Unfortunately, again, not every parent or friend, actually most of them, can't do this for you. It was definitely the case for me, because they don't really have the education how to how to coach, how to give you the self-awareness, the right direction that is also aligned with your desire. So in that movie it was beautifully modeled that they can do it, but it's not very common. So don't feel like, oh, my parents should be there for me, my sister. In an ideal world, yes, but I'm telling you, like 95% people don't have that. I didn't have that, like most people just don't have that kind of support and modeling, unfortunately. But the good news is you get to be in communities where you are supported. You get to be communities where you are moving forward in your life, in your relationships, in your career, and you don't let those triggers and limiting beliefs and mindset problems hold you back. You actually get to move forward, be successful, just like in that movie. I don't want to spoil the end. They're all moving forward. Like there's definitely a happy ending, but it is not luck. It is because they actually worked through their triggers, through their limiting beliefs. Yeah, and all of them had that. Like this at tech entrepreneur Arch had to learn new skills for relationships, and this woman, this singer, she also had to learn new skills for business. So new skills, opening up, overcoming limiting beliefs, fears. So I highly recommend you watch this movie, because if you never seen a functional relationship or family, watch this movie. And at the first view you might think, oh my god, they are so dysfunctional. No, they are just human. And the best thing about that is they work through their stuff. And this is what makes them functional. And the more people work through stuff, the less stuff comes up. So that it will just be smoother and smoother and smoother. But what I mean by that is that you get to move forward in your life. You get to be supported. You get to be loved and accepted. And you don't have to just run away from people and be alone. Okay. And I know I'm always talking about this, but I feel like I couldn't even like show you what it could look like. But this movie is something that I highly recommend you to watch. Again, they are not in like this final stage where no one is triggered. Actually, couples and families and relationship reach there after a few years, but the first few years of a relationship will look like that. It will look like that, and it's it's healthy. And this is such a perfect example of what I was talking, I think one video before or two videos before, where I was like, the secret of healthy couples who are healthy, happy, and who make it, this is the secret. They don't run away, they don't only fight with each other, they don't people please and watch TV the whole day to ignore the problem. They actually get self-aware, work to the trigger, to the limiting belief, move forward, and live happily ever after. Like this movie just shows this. And yes, they had amazing parents who supported that. If you don't have those parents, don't worry. You get to have a coach. You get to hire me as a coach, okay? And if you want that, reach out for a free love audit call. My link is in the description box. My link is in my bio. You can send me an email, okay? But you don't have to be stuck. You don't have to be alone. You get to have love and career success in your life. You get to have community. You get to move forward. Okay, and you get to be supported. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've also watched this movie, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm highly curious what you think. Let me know in the comments. Also, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and send it to anyone that might feel stuck in their life, career or love life, that might be in a relationship where there are lots of triggers and where there are lots of fights, that they know, okay, there is another way, we can work through this. You can send them my video, you can send them this movie, and that they at least know there is another way. We don't just have to fight or ghost each other or ignore each other. Let's work through stuff. It's usually around, like, this period doesn't go forever. It's usually around like 2 years, maybe, in a new relationship. And then things just move, And this is what differentiate the happy couples that are happy forever and the couples that yeah, are miserable or separate. It's basically this one thing that you work through your triggers and beliefs. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next video.